Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is episode 10 of Laredoans Behind the Business. I'm your host, Jeffrey Ramos. Today I have special guest, Gaby Velasco, and he is a film expert in Laredo. He's the king of film in Laredo. So
I wouldn't go that far.
I mean, dude, you fix film cameras, you develop film, you're like film everything. You've been doing film for like 20 plus years, right?
I'm going on 23 years.
Yeah, so I mean that's pretty experienced in my book. So yeah, tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
My name's Gabriel. Some people call me Gaby for short. Velasco. I currently own and operate Don't Be Negative Photo, which is Laredo's first, well, not first, but only current full-service film lab. We offer services for 35 millimeter film, 120 medium format, large format, Polaroids, camera repair, camera restorations, overhauls, pretty much anything film-related or analog, we can handle it.
Yeah. You say we, but it's like it's just you,
just me,
right? Yeah, it's just
totally. I have my best friend Maria who helps me out a lot.
Yeah.
Just as far as like hands-on mechanical stuff, yeah, I'm totally.
It's just you.
It's just me.
Yeah. You say Laredo's first or Laredo's only film development lab. I know
Full service.
Full service.
Yes. There is another one.
Is Denko, right?
Yeah, Denko.
Yeah.
I've just personally had.
But they don't convert like your film files to digital, right?
They can, but they charge you for it. They'll charge you. I think it's for the CD or the USB. But I mean,
who the fuck still uses CDs?
Yeah, nobody really uses CDs anymore. The USB method, it's kind of either have to buy the USB from them, which is an additional cost, or you can bring the USB yourself, which then again you'd have to go home, transfer, do all that stuff. Versus the method that I get to do is just Dropbox.
Yeah,
I just develop, scan on site, return your negatives in a period anywhere up to 2 weeks. Other than that, they're just on Dropbox. They're just straight to email, text, Instagram, anywhere you prefer. I
mean, it's so much easier that way. But yeah, I remember when I first bought the AE1, I found Indie Film Lab, the one in Alabama, which they're fucking amazing, right? But
they're great.
I wanted to find somewhere that was local that would develop the film here and then give me the digital copies. I called Denko and then they were like, yeah, we'll develop the film, but we don't really do we don't really send you the digital files back to you. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, it's fucking 2022. Like
2023, man. What are y'all doing?
Yeah, like, what are you all doing? But whatever, like, to each their own. I know they're still running around. I don't even know if they're fucking a chain or like is mom and pop or.
I think it was a chain, but there's only so many of them left.
Yeah. I know the one that used to be on
the McPherson near the Mr. Corn, the old
yeah.
I passed by it the other day and I was like, I remember that used to be Denko. It was a little like mobile home. Just
well, before it used to be the fucking Raspas.
Yeah.
What was it? The fucking Tropical Snow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the little polar bear on it.
Raspas, yeah. But
it's pretty solid.
Yeah. That's a little off topic there, but yeah. Denko used to be on. Right there on McPherson, and then the only one that I know that's left is on Zapata Highway.
Yeah,
that's
fucking
so fucking far for me to drive.
Yeah, even if you're in Southside, you're kind of like, I have to go over there.
Yeah. And then like with all the fucking traffic and everything, people don't know how to drive, and it's like, okay, no, I'm not gonna do this. But yeah, anyways, Gaby is pretty cool at doing what he does. He'll pretty much pick up the film if he needs to pick up the film from you, or you can drop it off, meet him somewhere, and he does it within a day, which is fucking badass because, like I said, with Indie Film Lab, I have to wait like almost 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
That's fine. Like
plus postage.
Yeah. I get it. Like I have to send it. I have to wait for it to get there. And then I have to wait for them to develop the film. And then they send it, which is like 2 to 3 weeks.
Not to mention, without proper packaging, you run the risk of your stuff getting x-rayed through the mail and you lose all your negatives before processing.
That's a thing?
Mm-hmm. Depending on the type of x-ray they use and your film speed. Yeah. If it's like a lower film speed, anything within the 250s, 400, from what I've seen lately, they've tested them and it kind of holds up. 800s are safe, but for the 400s, you run the risk depending on the type of x-ray they use.
You know, now that you say that, I remember when I went to Colorado in November of last year, I was at the Denver airport, and it said if you have film cameras or like if you have film negatives or whatever, like you need to tell us because we're gonna put it through the X-ray, and or like there was a big sign and it says like let us know if you have film, and I was like, all right, like, and I let them know, and I was like, hey, this is a film camera, like don't put it through the X-ray, but I never understood why. So
Yeah, it's your film.
that's
It's
crazy.
the negatives, yeah.
So what happens to it then?
Essentially, when you pull out your negatives, once you do development, you can go through the whole process after it's been burned through an X-ray, and what you're gonna get is essentially when you open up a new roll and you just stretch it out. That's what's gonna look like.
Just white,
It's just
or
gonna be
just
blank.
fucking
Yeah.
exposed, basically.
Yeah, you'll see the little square cuts of your frames, but there'll be nothing inside of them.
Damn, that sucks.
Yeah, you'll just get the printed numbers that's printed on the negative strip itself. What's already exposed, I guess.
Yeah. So I remember you told me the other day when I got the Nikon, or the Nikon from you. You're like, make sure that you wind the film correctly, because if not, you'll have like half exposures. Which luckily on the second roll that I gave you, I didn't.
No,
but
didn't.
There's already frames in the film, right?
It's not
Or
not
like
necessarily
like
frames, but it's got like a specific adjusted like pool where it'll automatically adjust the negative into frame.
Yeah.
So when you expose it, that square window you get, anything that's light, it's gonna burn into a square.
Into that little
And then
section.
when you advance, it advances it far enough to clear the square.
Oh.
But naturally, it just gives you that rectangle or like square, depending on 35 or 120 format.
Oh. See, I always thought it was just the film, and then the square would always be from basically what you shot, and then you wind it, and then the next one, so like it's perfectly portioned. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what I always understood. But anyways, tell us a little bit about how you developed the film in your shop. How did you learn to develop film?
It's funny. As far as developing film, I literally just saw someone doing it in Denko, like in the back, and I was just like, "Hey, can I learn?" And they were like, "No, you can't learn." And I was just like,
You went to Denko and you asked them that?
Well, as a kid, I was like seeing them process film. Like every time I'd get it back, I'd be like, "How do they do this? Like, this is so cool." So I'd ask them like, "Hey, I see you in the back. Like, can you teach me?" And they were like, "No, we're not allowed to." And I was just like, "Okay." So I went home to my grandmother's, and then I was just kind of sitting there, and I was like stuck with this like, I want to learn how.
Yeah.
And I never got to learn how until I got to high school, and I started like being able to access like more books and stuff. So I started looking up books in film development, lab technicians, and like how to work a red room. And basically I just kept rereading it until one day someone was like, "Hey, my grandpa's got a red room thing in the back. Do you want to like try it out? Yeah, try to make some pictures." So I was just like, yes. I was like, this is the first time I'm ever going to get to do this. I was like, yeah, for sure. So their grandpa ended up seeing us like going in there, and he was like, "What are y'all doing?" And I was like, like there goes my opportunity. But he said, no, he's like, "If you're going to do it, let me show you how to do it right." So he ended up showing us like step by step how to process the film. And from there, I had already known terminology and like what was what. So I was kind of just asking him, "So then you do this, right?" And he's like, "Yes or no. Yes, you do that, or don't do this, or you can do that because of whatever."
Right.
Giving me like outcomes. And from there, I kind of just applied it, started hanging out with that buddy more, started like shooting more like film, like just disposable cameras, and going back and saying, "Hey, can I develop the film here?" And the guy was like, "You're actually interested in this shit?" Like, sure.
Yeah.
Like, fuck yeah. Like, I have someone to teach. So
Yeah.
I started teaching me how to develop film. And then from there, that's when I started kind of just tinkering more with my great grandfather's cameras. He had left me a Polaroid 220 land camera, a Kodak Holiday Brownie, and a Minolta X700.
Damn.
And I remember first opening up that Brownie because it looked like a piece of junk. And if you pull it up now, it kind of is. But yeah, we had that, and then opened it up. I was like, this is super basic.
Yeah.
I was like, it just takes a napkin to clean this shit, and I'm done. So I was like, cool, put it back together. And I was like, let me try the other one, which is a little more technical. And I was like, okay, I think I'm going to mess this up. Sure enough, I did. I mean, I was able to take it all apart, but I had no idea how to put it back together.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, at least I know how it works now. Fast forward a couple weeks, go to Goodwill, find one for like $3.
A camera for $3?
Yeah, a Polaroid land camera. The same one, but a different color on it. And I was like, "Mom, can you get it for me?" I was like, "Can I have that?" And she was like, "Yeah, that's fine. Like, I'll get it. It's like $2-3."
Yeah.
So she bought it, and I saw the other one, and I was like, "This is where I messed up." So I started tinkering with it, and I was able to take that apart, clean it, and put it back together.
Damn. How long ago was that?
I want to say this was 2007 2007.
Oh, it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a good while.
Damn. Is that when like
That's when I
is that
fell
when
in
it
love with it.
clicked? Like
Yeah, that's
if,
when I was like, I like doing this.
Yeah.
Like, this is fun.
That's
Taking shit
badass.
apart and putting it back together for no reason,
Fuck
just
yeah.
to see how it works.
fuck yeah, that's awesome.
So that's how I learned how to do film development and then tinkering with cameras. And since then, it just kind of, I just lived behind the lens.
That's
I
badass.
still do.
Yeah, I can tell. I mean, if you follow Gabby on Instagram, you'd see that at least once a week that he's posting, his film ventures on his stories or on his posts. But it's a pretty complicated process of how the film is like washed and developed. Like,
No, nowadays it's super simple.
Really, is it?
Nowadays it's a completely different method from a red room. Now I literally have a blackout bag, which is a t-shirt without a head hole, and just a Patterson developing tank with two take-up spools, two empty take-up spools.
those are
So
the,
you can-
the little canisters, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can do 2 rolls at a time. And it's just a chemical process of developer, Blix, and then a rinse. The rinse is optional. Some people do, some people don't. I like to do it.
What's the rinse for?
It's just like a complete chemical rinse. So it's like a sense of like solution and purified water.
Okay.
So there's no like residue or chemical burns or anything like that left on your images.
Does it make the pictures look any different?
It
Have
just
you
helps with
noticed?
clarity.
Yeah.
As far as like on your negative, once the scan hits, from there I can go ahead and tweak the numbers and make everything just leveled for you,
Oh,
which
that's
is
badass.
also not an additional cost.
Yeah.
Personally, when I've had experiences with other labs, I see that whatever I shot, I got back. So if it's underexposed just slightly, they have no courtesy to like
Fix it or
fix
anything.
it or adjust it.
So
They'll
however
they'll
it
just
came out
raw.
on the
Yeah, it's just like, hey, it's super underexposed, but
Yeah.
technically you could fix it. Like, nah, it's just, we don't do that.
yeah.
So
Or
for
if you
me-
want us to do it, we're gonna charge you.
No, they just don't offer
Oh,
it.
they don't even do it
just,
at
they
all.
just print it. Like I had a print that I developed the negatives. It was black and white, and I didn't have a scanner at the time. So I said, hey, I'm bringing by a roll. It's just the raw roll already developed in a canister. Can you guys just do prints?
Yeah.
Dude, when I got those prints back, it looked like they dropped it in like dirt and like muddy water, and then there was like thumbprints all over my strip. Like I have the photos in that shit. It looks trash, dude. Ever
was
since
here?
then, that was here, and I was just like, no. And then
Not
ever
do
since
that.
then, I've had clients come back because they tell me things like, oh, it's because I tried this other place, but like they tell me nothing came out on the roll. Like I don't know how many times I've heard that company turns around and they say there was nothing on your roll.
So
And
what
it's
does that
like,
mean?
Yeah,
Like,
it's like, what do you mean there's nothing on my roll, dude? Like,
yeah.
I
Like,
shot
I
my
literally-
roll.
yeah.
Like, I was like, I've been doing this for 20 years. Like, there's no way I'm gonna like fuck up a roll. Like,
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
So
like,
what does that mean if they say that nothing's on the roll? Like they didn't
so
develop it properly?
From what I'm assuming, something went wrong and they can't get your photos, or they lost your roll. So there's that one didn't come out.
What the fuck? That's messed up.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah, so I personally am just like, hey, as soon as I get it, I label it and I just bag it, seal it, and I go straight to the lab. And I'm just like, develop, send it back. So it's out of my hands at that point. Like,
Yeah.
I know you got your stuff.
Right. Yeah.
There's no, oh, I lost it, or, hey, this. If there is, I'll handle it when it comes up. But until then, there's yet to be anything. There's been one time where a client gave me a roll, but it was with an expired set of film rolls. So if those aren't properly stored, they will not turn out. You will lose image quality. You'll get excessive grain, and it just loses its overall quality. So
Right.
the light doesn't burn as well onto your negative. And that's one thing that people don't take into account when they buy expired film. They think like, oh, it's expired, but it's film. It should still be good. It's still out of the light. And
Right,
It's like,
yeah.
yes, it's out of the light, but you need to also remember that it needs to
Was
be
it in
cold
the
stored.
heat? Was it fucking-
weather elements like
Yeah.
humidity, stuff like that. Like it makes a huge toll. If the roll itself even just got hot,
Yeah.
you can bake the little lining on the film roll itself, and it won't receive,
the
the
light
same way.
properly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, because you told me to put my film in the fridge, and I've heard that before too, but I never really took it seriously until you told me the other day, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna, because you said if you want it to last longer, leave it in the fridge.
Yeah, you can cold store film that's expired for years, but as long as it's cold stored,
Yeah.
it's at a steady, proper temperature consistently, and it's prolonging its shelf life that way. You can. I know some people who actually freeze their rolls. I've never done the freezing method.
But you have to thaw it out properly, right?
Yeah, I was like, I never really wanted to do the whole thawing out process,
Yeah.
and ruin it or anything. So, whenever I buy from expired, I'll usually go from a trusted seller or someone who knows and can verify that they've had it cold stored.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. And yeah, you can put your film next to the fucking the salsa Tupperware of the butter next to that. So that way we don't look like crazy Mexicans. I mean, we still look crazy anyways,
You're
right?
gonna
But
open up that crocker butter and there's gonna be film rolls in there.
yeah, I know, right?
That's la
funny.
salsa.
So you were developing at home, right?
Yes, I was developing at home for about 3 years.
And now you're developing
Inside the Laredo Film Society office.
Shout out
Thank
to
you guys. Thank you guys, LFS.
Shout out
If
to
you haven't
Laredo
checked out LFS, check them out on Instagram. It's Laredo Film. Incredible work, nonprofit, amazing people, just all around. I definitely recommend checking out anything and everything that they've got.
There you go. Yeah. So now Gabby has his own little spot there, and when I walked in there to drop off my film roll of film, you had that little what looked like a scanner. Is that what you scan the?
It's a flatbed scanner. It's Epson V600. It's more on the lower end of like consumer, but for right now, personally, I feel it does a great job with the output quality, and for what I need or the amount that I need right now, I think it's sufficient. But eventually, I do plan on getting one of those big boys.
Yeah, dude. I would love to see your business get so big, like Indie Film Lab big, and have like fucking 3 Noritsu scanners and like the fucking those Fujifilm scanners.
We're getting there. I hope
the Frontiers.
someday.
Dude, I sent you that video from Smarter Every Day. I don't know if you finished seeing it or not, but they go like super in depth of how they scan their images and like the Frontier scanners and then the Noritsu scanners. That'd be so cool for you to fucking have. Like,
the N series ones are super good, but they're really expensive.
Really expensive. Just for shits and giggles, I googled them the other day, like the Noritsus on eBay. Like upwards of $5,000, dude, and like that's that they're obsolete or considered obsolete.
That's like so good luck finding repair.
Yeah,
you got to know what you're doing and how to handle that machine. Otherwise, you're gonna be sitting with a $5,000 brick.
Dude, like more than a brick. It's like a pallet of bricks. It's like a pallet of bricks.
It's a pretty solid machine.
Yeah. So, dude, tell us a little bit about the cameras that you fix, like that one at the end there.
This one is a Nicomat FTN. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's an early 60s model SLR. The only battery function it needs is for the light meter, but I don't really ever use my light meter, so didn't put a battery in this one. But when I bought it on eBay, I got it super affordable. I got it for parts, and then when I got it, it really just needed a cleaning, quick tune-up, some oil right where it needs specific like attention, and then next thing I know, this thing's film tested. I already ran a black and white Kodak 5222 roll through it, which is cinema film, but I had the remjet layer removed, so I was able to shoot it as a still. So if you ever seen The Lighthouse or Schindler's List, that's that film stock.
That's the one that I bought from you, right?
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna save that one for like a really special occasion.
Yeah, I would save that one for something good.
Yeah,
that one, and then I've also right now putting in a Fuji 400. I had put Supiria Extra 400, my last expired roll, through it last night for Neotitlan, but I'll be developing that today. And seeing the results this afternoon.
Hell yeah, that's badass. And then the Nikon is the one that I bought from you.
Yes,
that one was like, I still love it. Like I love both of my cameras because this is mine. It's a Canon AE1, and then the second one there in the middle was the one that I bought from Gabby. But I love both of them. The only thing I don't like about the Canon AE1 is that it needs a battery for it to function overall, which fucking sucks.
Yeah, electronically driven.
Yeah, so. Like I told you earlier, like it doesn't make any sense. When I opened the box, I was like, yes, I'm gonna fucking load a roll of film and everything. And then I went to take a picture and it wasn't working. I was like, the fuck, like,
You're just It's just a dead shutter.
Yeah, I was like, what?
It's the most anticlimactic feeling.
Yeah,
when you open up a new
dude,
camera
and then I had to wait a whole week for the batteries to get here from Amazon. I was like, bro, come on.
Why didn't you do Prime?
I do have Prime, but like I don't know, the mail was fucking slow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, and especially for a little battery, like I had to wait.
Yeah, I've had USPS lose like $300 packages, and then when I reach out to the vendor, they're like, "We have proof that we sent it."
Yeah, it's out of their hands.
Take it up with USPS, and I reached USPS, and they're just like, "We don't see anything. We don't have anything." And I'm like, bro, it's like y'all claimed it delivered like 2 weeks ago. Like, where's my package?
Yeah,
and it still never showed up.
Oh my God.
So I was like, either someone read DBN photo and read photo and thought something,
Yeah.
or it truly is still lost and somehow working its way to me.
God damn it.
Through
That sucks.
through the abyss
Yeah.
of mail.
Maybe one day it'll just pop up
maybe
on your
one
door.
day it'll just pop up and there it is. Because I ordered a lot of film.
Damn.
It was a pretty solid bulk. Kodak 5222, 5219, 5218, 500T, 5238, and then I think some Electro 100, as well as like a bulk of Ilford.
Damn.
And it was
just never showed up.
It just never showed up.
Damn, that sucks.
I got one little pack that was separate from the rest of them.
Really?
And that was the 5222. Oh. And that was just the 5-pack that I got there. And I was like, well, where's the rest of my stuff? And
yeah.
It never showed up.
That's crazy.
I just find it weird that I bought everything together, but that showed up by itself.
Yeah, they didn't want it. They saw black and white, and they're like, I don't want
they're
this.
Like, I'm good with this one.
Yeah, I want that.
Package it and just send it to them.
I want the other shit. The other stuff looks good.
Like everything color, yes.
Yeah.
Gave me, keep that.
Yeah, that sucks, dude. But yeah, so I bought the Nikon from you, and that one was one hell of a deal. I traded my old Rolleiflex SL66, and it was like a trade / buy. But yeah, I ended up with that camera, and it's a waist level camera, so you can look down and you can see like basically what you're shooting. And that's one of the cameras, at least a waist level camera is something that I've been wanting for a long time, or at least since I started shooting film. And it's so fun, dude. Like, it's so rewarding.
You should check out my Graflex, man.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm selling my Graflex. It's a 22 TLR.
Really?
But I fully restored that thing.
See,
it was, like,
you're
rusty.
saying like all these cameras and like the numbers and stuff, and like I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. So if you're talking about digital cameras though, like I'm kind of on par of what the models and all that stuff is. But
I've been wanting to go a little bit of digital, but I feel like if I'm gonna do digital, I gotta do mirrorless.
Yeah.
I feel like I've heard a lot of people tell me before, like, just start shooting digital. You don't have to buy film and this and that. And I'm like, yes, but the type of digital that I want is expensive AF, and it's not easy.
Yeah, it's like upwards of like $2,000, dude.
Yeah, so I'm kind of like, I can spend that on a camera and save on film, or I can turn around and invest in my business,
right,
and use that to keep generating like income and clients and provide more services for the community, because there's already a bare minimum of it.
Yeah. No, and the cool thing is like everybody has digital. Like everybody has their phones, everybody has their fucking Sonys, their Canons, the R5s or whatever. Everybody has it. Nobody has. It's very rare that you find people with film nowadays
in this community. Yeah,
especially in Laredo, because like Laredo's a super small town, and with a limited amount of photographers, and even more limited with film now. So I think it's special when somebody shoots in film, because there's the process that goes behind it is,
it's much more intimate.
Yeah. It's a lot more intimate.
I mean, back in the day, it's a little less intimate for some now because of the process. It's so quick.
Yeah.
Just two at a time, knock it out, let them dry, and then they're good to scan. But back in the day when I was actually doing like, red room and like dark room enlargements and doing actual prints, like that was so intimate. It was such like a zen space where you'd be able to just come in. It's just quiet, no one's bothering you. You just hear the ambience of the room. You got your headphones in, you just hear the chemicals, your equipment or your tools just maybe clanging with the tabletops and stuff like that. Other than that, it's just quiet. It's such a like,
it's a more in-depth process. Like,
yeah, it's just like there's a little more sentiment to it, like getting to see your picture one by one, and like doing a large print of it and being like, that's what
mine, yeah. For me, I haven't developed any film myself, and I'd like to learn, but for me, when I shoot on film, it's so easy to just get carried away with the digital, because you can just click, and you're like, oh well, that didn't come out good, so like click, But with film, you really gotta not sit and think about it, but you really gotta focus and just take time to just shoot what you're shooting. You gotta like be in the moment, pretty much. And as cliche as it sounds, because I hear people say that all the time, like with film, you gotta be in the moment, but it's true. Like you really gotta be in it. you know.
And it's funny because I've heard that all the time. People say like, you're always behind the camera. Like, when are you just gonna like be in the moment? And I'm like, you don't understand. Like, me sitting here behind the camera just waiting for that perfect shot, and then it just fires.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's me forever in the moment.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
yeah, because when people ask you about the picture, like the way that you looked at the pictures on my wall, and I showed you which ones were film, I literally can go back and say, I remember what we were doing. I remember like it was fucking hot as balls, or like, you know, like
Yeah.
it was just, you know, I can remember and I can see everything the way that I took it. So like the pictures, even though those are digital, like these are digital, I can remember what I was doing and what I was feeling right then when I took it.
yeah.
And with film, it's like 10 times more. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. Like it's really cliche, and I feel like that's what everybody says in the film community, but it's true. You know?
I also feel like it's a pro and con, because when people say shoot digital because you can shoot forever until your memory card's full, and then you can just keep the good pictures. That right there is a huge like no for me.
Yeah.
For me, when I shoot, if I'm on a digital camera, I will keep all the bad files on there, and I'll sit there and I'll be like, like those suck, without deleting them and without having to have this like notion or like itch to want to erase them.
Yeah.
Because when you shoot digital, I feel you'll sit there and you'll shoot you shoot 100 shots, and out of those 100, you'll pick 10, 15.
Right.
And you delete the rest, right, to quote, make space.
Right.
You're never advancing and you're never growing, because every time you go back to that memory card, you're only looking at your good pictures. You're not seeing your growth. You're not seeing your process. You're not seeing your learning period over time,
Right.
as you would on a film roll.
Right.
For example, your first couple frames are like, oh, wow, like they're off. But eventually I got
a little
the hang
out of focus, a little
I got the hang of the
overexposed.
camera, so the end of the roll is nice and sharp and clean, clear.
Right.
And, further on, your rolls start getting better and better and better, because you learn your camera, you know how it works.
Right.
Versus when you just get a digital camera, you're like, ooh, you're just
I didn't like
tinkering
that
with
one.
it. You're like, yeah, nope,
Yeah.
nope. Oh, that one's good. Okay, next. And you know what I mean? And then you're left with like 5
Just,
frames.
yeah, like good pictures. And then you're like, oh, well, those are okay.
Yeah,
like,
so it's like, imagine if we had that option with film.
Yeah.
How much would you actually learn based on your film? You'd just be like, nope, let me go back.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then let me just go back.
Yeah.
And essentially, it's like not cheating, but it's just kind
It
of.
is. It kind of is. Like,
yeah, it's not cheating, but I would say it's definitely cutting corners on the learning curve already.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I mean, the way that I see it is I learned how to do photography on digital. And when I started picking up film, I was like, man, is it the same thing? Like, is it the same settings? And it's yes and no. Like, it depends on who you ask. But for shits and giggles, when I threw in that first roll of film, I was like, okay, like, I'm going to use my digital camera as the light meter, because I had no idea, like.
Yeah, that's a good move.
Yeah, so like I put it on manual, and I was like, okay, like if I can see that, the camera is overexposed, like at 150, okay, bump it up, then it might be more or less the same. Move the aperture. The ISO, you can't really do that much, not like on a digital camera. But I used that as my rule of thumb when I started shooting on film, and I mean, they came out okay. So, I mean, that's how I started learning you learn through YouTube anything nowadays, so you can pretty much
YouTube University.
Yeah, pretty much. So, oh man. So if you're watching the YouTube video right now, it might have cut off a little bit. I wasn't keeping track of my timer. Apparently I had a 27-hour timer on my phone, and it never went off until I checked right now. But yeah, can you imagine a fucking 27-hour podcast? Like taking Joe Rogan to the extreme there, right?
Yeah, honestly.
Joe Rogan's already like 3-4 hours. Can you imagine like a 27-hour podcast?
No.
That's crazy, dude.
No, I couldn't. Not unless it's outdoors and you're awarding, maybe like remote mics.
I don't even know that
but even then, like,
yeah, like I don't.
It's just a lot going on.
To talk, like to sit and talk for 27 hours.
No.
I mean, maybe if I was slamming some beers or something, right?
Yeah, maybe downrange. But
yeah.
Other than that, like, I mean, I have no reason to sit around for 27 hours.
Yeah, dude. Oh man. Fuck, I don't know. Let's. Is there anything else that you want to talk about film wise?
Shoot more film.
Stay
Stay broke. Shoot film.
Long live film. That's
film is not dead.
Yeah, film is not dead.
Far from it, my friend.
It's funny that you say that film is not dead. I've had a lot of people ask me when they see my cameras, they're like, "What are you shooting on?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's a 35 millimeter film camera, like a Canon or Nikon or whatever." And they're like, "Film? What do you mean film? Like from like the 90s?" Like, oh,
No, son, from now.
yeah. I was like,
From last week. This
yeah,
is a
like
fresh batch
from
of Fuji.
yeah. I was like the camera's not 90s. It's like 60s, 70s, but not. But yeah, like film's been around forever. And I had a family member ask me, and they're like, "Oh, film, like, why do you still, or why do you shoot on film?" And I go, because it's fun, it's intimate, it's it
Yeah.
really engages you, and I basically told them it's like vinyl and CDs and
It's
cassettes,
just
like
wholesome fun.
yeah, like everything's coming back, like the outfits that used to be in the 90s, like they're coming back, like
I saw a dude downtown wearing Jinko jeans.
really.
Jinko jeans. And I was like, are you going to like a corn Slipknot fest? Like,
Yeah.
Or something? But he had like the chain wallet and everything. And I was just kind of like, wow, this dude just walked out of like Gadzooks or something.
That's funny.
I was just like, I was looking at him and I was like, whoa, like this dude's like a person out of the 90s. Like,
Yeah.
He had everything, even a beanie. And I was just like
Like he just
yeah, for
traveled
a
through
second,
time or something.
I did a double take and I was like, I need to get that dude's portrait. And I was like, I don't have my camera on me.
Damn.
And I'm not about to go on an iPhone and be like, can I take your portrait on my on my phone? Like, that's stupid.
All loser.
Yeah, no, I've never been that type.
Do you take a lot of pictures? I mean, you do take a lot of pictures downtown, right?
Yeah.
But you
It's a
literally
hot
take
spot.
you take your camera everywhere, right?
It's an extension of me, honestly.
Yeah. So
even if I don't have a film roll, I'll take it with me just in the event that I come across a roll.
Yeah.
Or I can find film and load it up and I'm good to go.
Damn, that's crazy.
Always carry it on me. Stay strapped.
Stay strapped or get clapped.
Exactly.
When you were doing street photography and you're taking people's portraits, do you just take them or do you ask them?
It
Because
depends.
I've wanted to do street photography, but I don't
You don't
know
want to get in a fight or something.
Yeah, like I don't know, dude. Like I don't want it to be
It
awkward.
depends. There are people where I will see, and I'm far enough, or I can get a good shot. I'll
Like
just
across the street or something.
Yeah, like I'll just go ahead and take the frame. If it's someone who is, let's say like homeless or having like going through some hardships and stuff, I'll try to sit there and like approach them and say, hey, like good afternoon, like hey, would you mind if I like pay you just for some of your time? Like, would it be all right if I take a portrait? And usually they're like, yeah, sure, like that's fine. Like, I know one person one time I saw him sitting there and I was like, hey, I was like, I think I have like $5 on me. All I had was a 20, and I was like, fuck it, like I want the frame.
Yeah.
So I asked this dude, and I was like, hey, do you mind if I take some portraits of you, or just just as you are, like whatever you got going on, and I'll give you $20. And he was just like, yeah, but just don't get my face. That's cool. And I was like, okay, sure. So I just got like his environment and stuff, and
Yeah.
that was it. I mean, usually afterwards I'll sit there and they'll be like, what are they for? And they're like, oh, I'm just, I'm a photojournalist. I just document life. I do just humanitarian photojournalism. Just trying to capture the moments of life that everyone seems to miss or ignore or just turn a blind eye to.
Yeah.
And I just feel like kind of throwing it back, kind of like, I don't know. I feel, because I've gotten shit for it before, where people are like, why are you always taking pictures of homeless people or, addicts or stuff like that? And it's like, okay, well, number one, I'm not just taking their picture.
Yeah.
Two, I've spoken with them and I like either paid them for their portrait or at least talked to them for a little bit and asked them if it was cool. Unless they're,
It's not like
unfortunately, unless they're like passed out on the drug or something, I'll admittedly take a frame, but I won't take their face. Like it'll just be like lower body or just, legs
face turned around or something.
Yeah, no, like legs and then like the background, like to show like someone's just passed out in the middle of the walkway.
Yeah.
Like downtown, and everyone's just looking around, hands full of bags, but
Nobody bats an eye.
no existence to this. Like this man does not exist to them.
People don't even bother to check to see if he's okay. Or
Yeah,
like
exactly.
anything,
So I'll sit there and I'll roll. Like the dude was having trouble breathing. He was on his back, and there was like a syringe next to him on the floor, and there was like a little like cross right there next to the syringe, and I took a photograph of it, and he was having trouble breathing, and I kind of like nudged the dude a little bit, and I was like, hey, turn over. You're like, you need to breathe. And he was just so out of it. I had to like help him turn over, and he started breathing, and then like he kind of like came out of it, and he just like gave me a thumbs up, and he just like went back to sleep on his side. But I
Yeah.
was like, this dude's out of it. Like,
Yeah.
had he not turned over, like, he probably
Probably
could
could have
like,
died.
yeah, like, because your respiration is so slow, like, your muscles are like weak and you're like out of it. You're, you know.
Yeah.
So I was just like, nah, dude. I was like, I'm not gonna let this dude like die on in the front of like the doorsteps of this place. So I was like,
Was that just
turn him
recently
over.
or?
That was last month.
Oh shit. And that was here, right?
Yeah, that was here in the video
Downtown? Damn. And yeah, like you said, people don't even se les va
Yeah.
la onda.
So because I've noticed and I've been seeing that, and I'm so tired of people just, you know, pulling up to go downtown to go shop and go spend money or go do whatever they're gonna do.
Yeah.
And there's someone offering to wash their window, and if there's a couple feet of space between the car, as soon as they get up to their window, they'll inch forward and they'll ride the bumper of the other car just to not see that person.
Yeah.
Or just to like just kind of inch forward and like, I don't take the no, like read the room kind of. And it's kind of like, are you so above them that you can't just turn to them and say no thank you?
Yeah.
Like what's the whole like, oh,
Like
why
if I
do-
don't
why do you
look, yeah, like if I don't make eye
look,
contact.
it doesn't bother me. It's
Yeah.
kind of like, why would it bother you? It's another human being.
Right.
Just because they're not as blessed
That
or
one
like as
that
better
one hit
off
me
as
kind of
you.
hard, right? Just right when you said that,
Yeah.
because I'm guilty of that sometimes, dude. And it's when you said that, I was just like, ooh.
I saw
I
that.
felt that.
My parents used to do that as a kid. They would
Yeah.
always just, as they were coming up, just no. They would always just start shrugging them off and like
Yeah.
tell them stuff. And it's kind of like when I was going downtown and I was with my dad downtown, I was like shooting film and he was just like, why are you here? He's like, there's just the homeless people here. There's just like, you know, druggies and stuff like that. Van a robar and this and that. And I was like, dude, I know half of these people like by name. I was like, they're super respectful. They're super cool. Like,
Yeah.
I talk to them and they're like, hey, good morning. Like, you know, if I'm in a rush or something, I don't have like coins for the meter. They'll spot me, dude. The other day I was like, oh, I don't have my card. And he goes, it's okay, man. He goes, I got quarters. And he put him in for me.
Damn.
Because he knew me. And
Yeah.
I was just like, well, thank you, dude. I appreciate it. So like when I came back, I got the dude like a soda and some chips. And I was like, it's all I've got. But like, you know, here's
It's better
something.
than
And I was like,
nothing.
yeah, dude. So I was like, here. And I'm actually working on a project. I've been building this portfolio. Haven't really been telling too much people about it. But
Well, here's a little
here's a
sneak
little
peek.
exclusive.
Yeah.
I'm actually building a portfolio which specifically caters to the community that's downtown, like homeless or like, you know, near Bethany House and all those people who are like not as fortunate as the rest of the city is in the community. All the portraits and photographs I've been taking, what I'm going to do is do a showcase. I'm not sure where yet, but I'm going to work with someone locally, try to do a showcase where it's like entry fee. And then every single cent of those proceedings is going to turn around and go to like the local nonprofit that feeds those people and that helps those people out. So that way
That's badass.
so those same people that are sitting there ignoring you and wanting to go spend money on high-end art and go check out shows and galleries, guess what? You're about to go see the people you've been avoiding
For fucking years.
For years.
Yeah.
And like, guess what? You had to pay to see it.
Right. Yeah. And you're donating to them.
Yeah, and it's going right back to them. So
Yeah.
it's like a double fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I like that. I hope that. I mean, it'll probably take you a while, right? It's in the works.
The portfolio, I've already been working on it for probably about 3-4 years.
Damn.
So I have close to about 60 to 70 images that I want to choose that are each individual, but I'm still working on it.
Damn.
There's still more to shoot. I feel
There's always something to shoot. There's always something to shoot. And you know, I was thinking about that the other day. I was rolling through downtown and I had my camera, and I was like, man, how cool would it be to make somewhat of a portfolio of all like the historical buildings, or like, you know, just every building in the street, and then kind of like make a map of it or something.
Yeah.
You know, I know it's not really in the same ballpark as yours, but I mean, I think it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, it's similar to that, like the coffee map.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Where you can, you know, visit all the historical buildings and stuff that are still intact or still accessible.
Right. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
That, I mean, dude, that'd be cool, man.
Yeah, because I know all the buildings that are inaccessible, and I still get in there.
I'm gonna redact that a little bit.
Just a little.
Yeah. Hey, he didn't
yeah.
he didn't disclose how he got in there, so
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that. He whatever.
Point is, I have photos that other people don't.
Yeah. I know we were talking about that one that I really want, the hotel the
hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude.
I have photographs throughout the hospital.
But
that
I'm telling
day,
you, that's on my bucket list, dude.
Yeah, but
Like,
that day I had permission. I was able to
Yeah.
to go in there with permission. Otherwise, I have yet to go back. Everything's closed off. I've seen points of access,
Yeah.
but I'm also not really trying to like
get in,
Yeah, like
get,
break in, like jump fences and jump through buildings and walls and get crawling through windows. Like
yeah,
I'm not trying to get into
yeah.
that kind of space.
You didn't leave with like any spirits or anything, did you?
I don't think I did.
Yeah.
I mean,
Have you seen
I've
that
had
have you seen that YouTube video, like the kids going in there and like, I don't know like how true it is, right? I
I
mean, the
haven't
kids
seen it.
make up some fucking stupid shit like nowadays, but like it was, they went into the hospital and then it was they started hearing noises and voices and like it could have just been another kid down the fucking hallway, but yeah, like
You never know. I mean, I have SSC.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've heard a lot of stories where like they leave there with spirits. I heard one story where a guy left there and he like the spirit was attached to him that he went insane and he ended up committing suicide because like of how crazy the spirit was. I don't know how true that is.
Never know, man.
I don't know.
That's one thing I don't play with.
Yeah,
If
and that's why I
I'm
don't
a
want.
huge
Yeah,
empath, and like I pick up on energies and just like I don't know, dude. For me, it's kind of like the way I pick up on energies or like other people's just aura.
yeah,
Like I'll just stand near somebody and instantly the air pressure just feels like off to me, and I'm like I don't want to be around this dude. Like get me out of here. Or
Yeah.
like I'll just maneuver away, and I'm just like I don't like that vibe.
yeah,
Like period. And then later on, I hear something, and I was like, oh, I was right. Like the person's off, or
he's an asshole
they
or
did
something.
or yeah, they're just a jerk, and
Yeah,
I just don't want that energy around. But yeah, as far as like the hospital and the access, the last thing that I got access to was, I guess that's like mostly known was Cinemark Movies 12 mid demolition.
Yeah, right. Mid demolition.
Mid demolition.
No way.
Yeah, they didn't have anything closed off. They had a fence, but it was like this massive opening, so with no caution signs, no nothing. It was just fence.
No keep out. No nothing.
Yeah, so I was like, I mean, half this building's demolished, but I'm gonna go in there anyway.
Damn.
So decided to go in there, checked out the building, made some video recordings of just the space. Recorded a friend talking about discussing a memory exactly in the spot that she's in.
Really?
We took some photographs there. Went up to the projection rooms up top.
Damn.
Yeah, man, we got to check it out like thoroughly.
Damn, that's crazy.
And there's a picture that's from the projection room when you're coming back downstairs to like the main floor. On the top of the doorway, it says "Remember to smile."
Oh,
and I saw
shit.
that and I was like, "Oh shit!" So I took a picture of that.
That's badass.
So I was like, "That's pretty interesting." And then I took the checker tile.
Yeah.
I took a little chunk that has 4 tiles and it's the black and yellow.
Oh, that's cool.
As like a memoir.
Dude, that's everybody's childhood right there, man.
Yeah. So
Like,
I have one of the little tile chunks, and then I've also got auditorium number 7.
oh, that's
I have
cool.
that number. I took that plaque off. It was just like a sticky plastic thing, so I just and then I took off.
That's crazy. I'm
It
sure
says like
somebody
a memoir or
would pay
something.
some serious money for that here in
No,
Laredo.
that's mine, man.
It's mine.
That's mine.
That's funny. You said projection room, and going back to like what we were talking about film. It's crazy that they still shoot movies in film.
Yeah.
And it's crazy how the films are all this analog and like everything that used to be. Like the way that you had to edit film, you literally have to piece
Like frame by frame.
frame by frame.
just
Yeah.
make sure
So
it's-
can you like Star Wars? Like they literally shot that on film, and for them to throw in, like CGI, what was CGI back
all
in
the
the day?
edits per frame.
Yeah, like dude, that's crazy. Like they have to go frame by frame by frame, and then like, oh, that's not the right frame. Cut it out.
Yeah.
Then stitch it.
Yep.
That's
and it's
crazy,
funny because
dude.
like I understand and I see the work that goes into the cinema and stuff, but I've never seen Star Wars.
Yeah, you gotta.
So
see
I'm just
Star
like
Wars.
I see the film and I know I can understand like the work that went into it,
Yeah.
but I've just personally never seen it.
Oh man.
Never seen any one of them except for what was it, the episode?
The
1?
episode 1 that you
yeah,
told
as a
me.
kid
Yeah.
with Natalie Portman.
Yeah.
I was like, I had to see it.
I don't blame you, right?
Kid
But
crush, kid crush right there.
that's funny. But yeah, I mean, I sent you that reel from Christopher Nolan where he's showing that IMAX.
Yeah, the Oppenheimer. It's shot on Kodak.
Yeah, the 70 millimeter. Or?
Yeah, I think it was 70 mil, and he said that the film is over 11 miles long in film.
Dude, that's insane. Like,
yeah, like that's just a strip of negative. Like,
yeah, like just wound up in the thing, and then yeah, like I saw how they were making I think it was Dunkirk, like in that scene
Yeah.
where I don't know if you sent it to me or not, or I saw it, but They basically have the IMAX camera in the cockpit of the plane when the plane crashes,
Yeah.
and they're literally drowning, and he couldn't get out of the cockpit. And they're like, "Oh well, there goes the film. If we can save it, we can save it. If not, then we'll try and shoot it
Yeah,
again."
fuck
You
it.
know,
Do it
but
again.
yeah, like it's crazy, man. Like we take everything for granted nowadays with Photoshop and like Adobe Premiere Pro. Like I know I do, and like it's just like click, 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 drag, drop. That's it.
Man, I used to do Photoshop a lot. I think the last time I was on Photoshop was Photoshop CS
Oh, that's been a while.
or like Photoshop 7.0.
Yeah, it's been a
Yeah,
while.
right before the CS started.
Yeah.
I remember I'd always just download the like torrent version of it and just get a serial cracker, and then just I'd have Photoshop.
Damn.
But now the only program I use outside of my installed Epson scanner, like just little tweaks and features, little histogram and stuff, I just use Lightroom Classic.
Yeah.
But that's honestly just to bring out the balancing measures for like photography and any frames that like a client might have sent that's like a portrait with flash, but their faces are all white. I'll go ahead and tweak that down and level it for them so that you can see the flash, but you can see their faces too.
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh, this was a good photo, but the flash did. No,
Yeah.
not if I'm handling it. I'll fix that up for you.
Nice.
I'll fix it to as best as it can.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna force a frame either.
Yeah. I get you. And you, like, have you done other photography other than street photography? Because
Yes.
like what kinds?
Whole lots. There's humanitarian. There is, before I used to do a lot of private security, like coverage and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Some more like intimate stuff is just combat footage and stuff like that, but mostly it's just
But nothing like where like photographers say like, oh well, I'm a wedding photographer, or oh, I'm a couple.
no like Pulitzer Prize or nothing like that, like, oh, I'm a wedding photographer. No, I just stick to, I'm more of just like a humanitarian,
just
photojournalist.
everyday kind of
just anything and everything that's available, anything that's not being covered that could have coverage or should be covered in my eyes, I'll go ahead and try to cover it.
That's cool, dude. And that's, I feel like, in my opinion, that's it's not tough to be that kind of photographer, but it kind of is in a way, because me as a photographer, I've done astrophotography, I've done aviation, I've done like a wide array of different types of photography, but to walk around the streets of Laredo or like anywhere
And
downtown,
say you're this kind.
yeah, like a street photographer or like a humanitarian photographer or just like a raw everyday photographer, like it's tough because you're really challenging what you take a picture of and how they come out and basically what your exposures look like.
Yeah, I mean, you can get a portrait of different people all day long.
Yeah.
And each one can look the same.
Yeah.
Each one can look completely different. Just the point is behind the photo, why you're capturing it. Like, oh, okay, I want to take this person's portrait, but it's like, why? Is it just, oh, okay, it's like I like their attire, their fit, whatever. Depending with the right lighting or, just the right setup, you can really make a super powerful shot. Like I took a portrait of a friend of mine who was just, we were having drinks at Cultura Beer Garden. We were just chilling and talking, and she was in the middle of like fixing her shirt, and I took a portrait of her, and I was like, that picture probably didn't come out that great. And I was like, but I wanted that shot.
Yeah.
And then took a couple more portraits, but that one where she's fixing her shirt and it's like off, turned out to be the best one.
Really?
So it's kind of like that one little accident that I was like, I like this lighting, but even though it's not right or conventional, it works. So I snagged it. And then the other ones that were conventional didn't turn out as nice.
Yeah. Yeah, like I in my opinion, I feel like if you can, it's tough, man. Like I take pictures of just random everyday things and I think, man, like it's an okay picture. But then again, you're subjecting yourself to your own opinion and not like, first of all, like it doesn't matter what everybody else thinks.
Exactly.
But at the same time, like if you can take a picture of just like a normal everyday thing and make it, I guess, look good or whatever, make it look, I don't know, I guess presentable for the camera. Like, I don't know. I don't really know what I'm trying to say, but like, it's like a flip flop basically. Like, like, I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of weird. Like,
kind of like, you're taking photos because you think something's good, but it may or may not be for everybody else, or vice versa.
Right. Yeah.
Like everyone thinks it's good, but you're like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah. Like, Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, you go downtown and you see like these rundown buildings. People just they just keep on walking by, or like, you know, like the homeless people or whatever. They just keep on walking by it. But you take a picture of that and especially in black and white when there's no color, there's not really too much emotion, but like the black and white brings out tons of emotion. Like
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but like the color takes away, or like it bring like I don't know. It's kind of weird, dude. Like I don't
Yeah,
really
I
know how to describe it unless you actually shoot it. You're just like, okay, I get it. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean though.
Like,
For me, black and white is taking portraits or taking photos of stories,
yeah,
and then when I'm shooting in color, I'm taking portraits of pictures, or I'm taking pictures of like the environment.
right,
I'm not really capturing the story when I'm
right,
shooting in color. I feel like I'm just capturing the moment,
right.
like just that quick little pocket
Mm-hmm.
of just someone laughing or something, just like, hey, that moment of them like having a beer or smoking a cigarette, or pass out on the floor or something.
Yeah,
Because I mean, there's been times where I'll see something and I'm like, ooh, this is a perfect, and I'm like, I have it in color.
color.
I'm
Yeah.
not gonna shoot
It's
it.
not gonna feel.
I'm just like, I won't even bother. Like,
Yeah.
I'll come back.
Yeah.
Because I'm not the type to shoot color and then just grayscale it later.
Yeah.
It's not the same. Because then when I see it, I just see color. I still see it in color, so it's not the same.
Those that roll of film that I sent you when I was in Dallas, I shot it on the Kodak 200, the Kodak Gold 200, and I wish I would have shot it in black and white because I saw the pictures that I took, and I was like, I feel like they would have been more meaningful had I shot them in black and white, because I see them in color and it's like, no, I'm not gonna do it a disservice by going into Lightroom and then throwing a black and white filter on it, like you just said. I'm not gonna do that, like,
Yeah.
because you can't, like, you know, like
It's
the
not
way
the
you
same.
shot it is the way
you
it is.
remember it in color, so when every time you look at it, you're like, it's not supposed to be like that.
Yeah.
At least for me, that's
Yeah.
how I feel. I'm just like,
And
I know you're
it's
not in
even
black and
funnier
white.
because I just recently shot a wedding for a friend, Daniela and Adrian. Shout out to them. But I was editing the pictures and I gave them, you know, multiples, and I gave them the color version and then the black and white version. And I thought to myself, I was like, the black and whites look good and the colors look even greater, but like, I feel like it's cheating. Like, you know, like, oh, here's a color version, here's a black and white, and it's the same one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas opposed to like, oh, let me throw.
And if you like them both, you're kind of like, well, shit, what do I pick?
Exactly, yeah. And I gave them both, right? But like, still, like, it's not the same as like throwing in a roll of black and white and just shooting in black and white.
Capturing it raw.
Yeah, and I was just like, I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah. Plus, depending on your black and white film and your film speed
Yeah,
and your camera settings, it will honestly bring out a completely different type of black and white.
yeah,
Because you can go anywhere from Arista EDU 100, 200, or 400, and that's going to give you blacks and whites. It's not going to give you any grays. There's no room for grays on that film. I don't know why. It's a very like low cost, low end film.
yeah,
It's very thin, so the gray tones never really pick up, as opposed to an Ilford SFX 200. You'll get incredible gray tones. The Kodak 5222, the Ilford 3200, you'll get exceptional grain. You'll get nice dark blacks, but you'll get like rich grays and then high contrasted whites as well. Because I mean, depending on what you're shooting, how you're shooting it, and the film stock, it really makes or breaks your photo.
yeah. And it's not the same for digital, because I noticed when I was throwing the black and white filters on there, or, you know, the preset, because I have a black and white preset, it wasn't the same for every picture.
Yeah.
And then when I move like the contrast or like the brightness or just like the adjustment filter, you started seeing like all the grays and the black and whites shifting, and I was like, man, I wanted it to look the same across the board, but it's not gonna be like that. And I was like, damn. Now
that's because your film type, you'll be shooting in color, it receives it in color, so it translates it into color. So when you're seeing it like in color and then you shift it like that,
you're taking
seeing
away
red in black and white.
Right.
You're not seeing the black and white film naturally like translating its tones, or just reading it as black and white the entire room versus a transfer later or like an overlay.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Something random. I was telling my wife the other day, it's crazy how cameras, film is almost kind of deceptive in a way. Because if you think about it, the way that I learned, or the way that I think we all learned in school, is that our eyes pick up images upside down, basically.
Yeah.
And then our brain,
does,
and then our brain
will like
Well, flip it to
yeah.
where it's supposed to be right side up, and then cameras do the opposite of that, like
Yeah.
because of the mirrors and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So like on the waist on the
The waist level. Yeah, it's
yeah, on the
backwards.
waist level, like it's opposite.
Yeah.
So like you
It's a
turn
raw
right
shot.
and it's going left or whatever, right? There's my timer. Yeah. So anyways, with the waist level viewfinder, it's opposite. So it's so weird because you go up and it goes down, you go down and it goes up. It's basically the opposite.
Yeah, there's no formal pentaprism.
Right. Yeah.
To sit there.
Unless you put the eye viewfinder and
Yeah.
everything's right backward,
right side
like
up.
yeah, right side up or as normal as you're expecting to find it, right? And I told her, I was like, everything is almost a lie in a way because your eyes pick up one thing, your brain transmits it into another thing, and then even on top of that, the colors that you see are not truly the colors
Exactly.
that we're seeing because other people are seeing different colors, all based on how the light's hitting certain objects.
That
and
then
how
that's also just your angle.
Yeah.
The fact that you can like, it's kind of like a polarizer. Just sit there and you just rotate it, and instantly all the shadows shift.
Yeah.
And it just depends on where you're looking at it from.
Dude,
It
like
just depends on how light hits it.
everything like the world we live in is a lie. Like
It pretty much is a simulation.
yeah, it is. It is a simulation. Oh man.
Yeah, because I mean, it kind of is. That's kind of one of the reasons, like, I guess to put it so bluntly, everything's a lie.
Yeah.
I guess that's one of the reasons why I also stay away from digital, because digital, it's reading green and it's saturating it for me into my camera lens or into my camera screen.
Right.
And then even more so, like new cameras with electronic viewfinders, those are literally fucking cameras projecting a camera for you to look at instead of actually fucking seeing something.
Yeah.
As it's for, you're seeing this room with like a bunch of backlight around it, so it looks all bright and vibrant.
Yeah.
And then you look away from it and it's all fucking dim.
Right.
But then you take a shot and it's all bright and vibrant. So it's like you're not getting what you're looking at. Like it's already like enhancing shit for you. You're already fucking cheating.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just like,
mean,
nah, man, like that's not real. Like
no, yeah.
like
I
people
mean,
can just high contrast, high sharpness, heavy saturation, take
Yeah.
all their shots, and then they all look like they were touched up on their iPhone.
right.
And it's kind of like, dude, you know damn well like your face doesn't glow like that.
Yeah.
You know those hair highlights don't pop the way
That's
they do in
funny.
that photo. Like you know damn well. Like,
Yeah.
in person they're like gray, and then in the photo they're like solid yellow gold.
Yeah.
Like no.
Nah, dude.
With film, it's sorry, dude, but it's gonna catch all those blemishes.
It is the way it is. Like it is what it is. When you're shooting on film, I asked Pepe this last time on episode 5. When you're shooting on film and you see something, the way that you see it does it ever come out the way that you wanted it to come out?
Yes.
Like always.
Oh, spot on. It
Yeah.
depends on the film stock, but it's mostly when I'm shooting black and white.
Yeah.
If I want something lighting wise, it always comes out with SFX 200 from Ilford.
Yeah.
That's like a low speed.
Like if you're
type
looking
film.
at a subject and you see it, you're like, okay, this is what it's gonna look like in black and white, and then you go and develop it, and then you see it and you're like, damn, that's exactly how I wanted it. I love that feeling.
The only times I've had that is with SFX 200, 3200, and the Kodak 5222, the one I just recently tested.
Yeah.
Those black and whites have like yet to let me down. Like
are they different? Like
yeah, each one is different.
Yeah.
One's a 250 speed, one's a 200, and then the other one's a 3200. But yeah, anytime I'm shooting with those, like I know I'm gonna get what I'm looking at.
Yeah. I tell people all the time that like the way that I see things and the way that I want them taken on the camera is how I wish, not the way that I wish people could see them, but like I just know what I want to shoot. And when I see it, I wish in my, like, cause in my brain, it's like, okay, this is how it's going to come out. And not that it has to be perfect, but I know where I want things and how the settings and how I want them adjusted. But I feel like if it doesn't come out that way, like I get disappointed, you know what I mean? But I don't know. I don't know if that's just like the photographer's mindset or like.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because it also just depends on your mood. Like you can be feeling super creative and artistic, and then you go out there and you're kind of just like, I'm not feeling it.
Yeah.
Like I want to be creative, but you don't want to force it either. So you find yourself either just walking around or driving around or just sitting around like with your camera. Like I want to take pictures, but I don't know what.
Yeah.
But I know what I don't want to take pictures of, and it's this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what sucks.
Going back to black and white, when I went to Colorado, I wish I had a roll of black and white film on me.
Colorado mountains,
Dude.
getting just hit that 22 f stop and
Dude, when I took those pictures, I took them both in digital, and I took them both, or I mean, I took it in digital and I took it on film, and you could immediately tell the difference.
yeah,
Immediately. But I saw the pictures in film, and I was like, man, I wish I would have taken a roll of black and white film, so I could have just like had like an inkling of a sense of Ansel Adams.
yeah.
Dude,
I knew exactly what you were talking about. That's why I was like, put that shit at 22. I was
dude,
like, let's get some Ansel Adams
man.
vibes.
And then I on the digital ones, I did the black and white filter, and I was like,
Damn.
I was like,
It's not
like
the same.
I felt it, but then I was just like, it's not the same. Like,
Yeah, it's that digital sharpness, that
yeah,
contrast,
like,
that
and I
that
could throw
little-
all the
that,
grain in the world, like, and
that like natural filter of enhancement that you can't dull down.
yeah. And I was just like, oh, next one for sure. I'm taking a roll of black and white. Like, I will.
If you're gonna do Ansel Adams, you gotta not use a light meter.
Yeah.
You
Well,
gotta-
yeah,
you gotta
'cause he
raw
just-
dog it. Yeah,
yeah,
I
dude.
don't know how he did.
I mean,
that.
I don't use a light meter to begin with, but
I don't. Yeah, as far as like outdoor photography, him and Bill Huo just wow, dude.
I don't know too many
how
like
I don't know how
old
they
school
do it.
photographers, but Ansel Adams is the one that I always like look up to.
For old school. Huge inspiration of mine is Robert Capa,
Robert
for sure,
Capa.
and Herdataro.
Yeah.
They were like lovers and stuff. Back in the day, they covered the Spanish Civil War, which on Amazon there's a documentary about it called The Mexican Suitcase, and it's like 4,000 or like 400 plus rolls of just stills and like film negatives that were processed from the Spanish Civil War.
Damn.
And there's like little to no coverage on that war.
Yeah.
And Herdataro and Robert Capa like did basically full coverage being in the concentration camps, like work camps and shit, like hard labor camps and all that, like taking pictures of people working like in the sands and like all the Spanish immigrants that came to Mexico because Mexico was like, we'll take y'all, because everyone else was like, no.
Yeah.
And yeah, dude, like they documented all of that shit.
Damn.
And they found it in Mexico City like a couple years ago.
Wow.
And it was fucking preserved. And like they were like, the guy wanted some cash, but he was like, nah, I'm just gonna donate it to like the societies or whatever. But
Yeah.
they were like, nah, we're still gonna pay you. So they paid him and they bought it off of him. So now it's in a museum in Mexico.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's
Spanish
wild.
Civil War. That was
I don't even know, man.
that
I'm not that great with dates, but as far as like coverage goes,
at least almost 100 years ago, right? Somewhere around there. Less than 100 years. Let me see.
I don't want to be wrong.
No. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to be wrong either.
Let's see. But other ones that I have for inspiration is definitely, I mean, I like the composition, but not so much how or like what he was shooting, but his composition was nice. Is Henry Cartier-Bresson.
Okay.
Yeah, his stuff's a lot of like in motion, blurry. Like it's very street photography, but it's very like you can tell he took it like as he's walking.
Oh, okay.
Like
Yeah.
kind of shots,
Yeah.
but it's very much like my style as far as like just taking shots to
Like
take
shoot
the
and
shot.
go.
Yeah, like someone just sitting there like zoned out, looking out the way, but like the lighting's hitting them, and he snagged a portrait of them just disassociating, and it was just like it's some pretty good stuff. But
That's pretty badass.
let's see, what's your Wi-Fi password?
That one's kind of long. I'll give it to you in a little bit. Is it the service is bad here, right?
It was from this area, but it's new.
Yeah.
36 to 39.
1936 to 39.
1939.
Yeah. So like almost 80 years ago. Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, and they
That's-
found him this year, or not this year, but like a couple years.
A couple
I think
years
it was
ago.
2019 that they found them.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. Can you imagine like finding?
Just a Mexican suitcase in a closet of
Yeah.
perfectly preserved negatives. And it's a suitcase, and you pop it open, and it has little like 2x2 squares cut out, and each one has like a bulk of film roll in there.
Wow.
And that's all it is. It's just closed up. That's it.
So that's what was in Tarantino's case, huh?
Probably, man. I
When-
wouldn't
when
doubt
when
it.
John
they're looking
Travolta
at
opened
him.
the-
Oh, we happy.
Yeah, we happy.
Bunch
Dude,
of
that's
Kodak
what was in
gold in there.
That's what was in Tarantino's case, man.
Honestly.
Dude, I saw a video that he was like, "Oh, like I leave the interpretation up to
Yeah.
to the
The
viewer."
viewer.
Yeah, and you know, it could be Marcellus's underwear or whatever.
Yeah,
It
there
could
was
be
some
whatever you
people saying
want.
that it was like his soul. That's why he has that little like band-aid on the back. That
Oh
they like
yeah,
extracted it from him. That's why he's like so desperate to get it back.
really?
Yeah, supposedly it's like some
Damn.
conspiracy theory. Like, really, did someone make some time?
I don't know what
think of the
I don't
backstory.
I don't know that I've ever sat down and thought like, oh, like it should be this, but you saying like somebody found rolls of film from the
That sounds good to me.
that
man.
yeah, dude, that's it for me right there.
Like fresh rolls of Kodak 200
yeah, yeah.
from the 90s. Like, we'll be happy.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, exactly.
Close that up, man. Let's go.
Dude, that's funny. Is there anything you want to say to the people listening, to the people watching, before we close out the episode? Your socials, your where
Yeah.
people can find you and stuff like that.
My social media for Don't Be Negative Photo is on Instagram. It's photo.dbn. And then my personal Instagram, which is more of my personal portfolio, more street photography, humanitarian photojournalism, that is at velasco.onfilm. velasco.onfilm.
There you go.
Big shout out to Laredo Film Society for helping me on this amazing adventure starting out. I owe them so many things. Also, to anyone else in the film community in Laredo or surrounding areas, we offer our services. We offer shipping and anything that you guys may feel hesitant to reach out for. Don't worry. We are very nice. We don't bite. We're not aggressive. We're welcoming to anyone that shoots film or anyone with camera questions, whether they're digital or not. Chances are we may or may not be able to help you, but we'd still like to try. Other than that, yeah, thank you for everyone who has been supporting me so far in this business venture, and I hope to continue doing more for the community as well.
There you go. Yeah. Just a word to the wise: Gabby does not fix digital cameras.
Oh yeah,
because
I can help out with most stuff, cleaning, lubrications, and small adjustments. But if it's like an actual repair for a mirrorless or digital camera, chances are I'm probably gonna say no. I just haven't gotten around to the electrical cameras yet, but I plan to someday.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on the show, bro. It really means a lot for me, and I think for everybody, because Laredo's missing. I think like you said, a full service. I mean, not missing anymore, right? But
Yeah.
people need to know that your full services are here in Laredo and they're here to stay. And it's nice to know because, like I said, I would send my film out to Alabama, take me 2 to 3 weeks, and it just takes forever. Like, I get it, wait to see what you get.
Yeah.
But if I can wait a day as opposed to like 2 weeks, I'd rather just wait the day. Like,
And you're paying the same
and I'm
thing.
supporting you. I'm supporting local. Like, that's what matters the most to me, obviously, right?
Thank you.
But yeah, episode 10. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. I never thought I'd be here at episode 10, but I figured I'd have to have everybody on the show that I've had so far is pretty special. I'm not going to give exclusivity to Gabby, but I think he holds a little bit of a special place in my heart because of film, photography, and all that stuff. But
Thank you.
yeah, to everybody watching episode 10, I mean, I can't believe I'm here at episode 10, but yeah, thank you to everybody that has supported the show, everybody that has watched, listened, for all the feedback, even though most of it's constructive. But hey, like I said, on the Instagram reel, I'm pretty much a one-man band, so to speak, one-man show. So I got my mics, I got my computer, I got the camera. I make mistakes, but if you can stick around and listen to the guest stories, which is what matters the most to me, then, that's what matters the most. And if you can support them in the long run, whether it be sharing a simple Facebook post, Instagram post, or recommending them to friends, and even in the long run, supporting them by utilizing their services, then I've done my duty here. So to everybody watching and listening, thank you so much. We'll catch you on the next episode. And don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube. And yeah, thanks. Oh, one more thing. If you want to know about the film process and how film is made and stuff like that, I will post some video links in the description below. This is a more in-depth pretty much of how a film is made. It's not from Laredo, but it's pretty much film photographers and how it's made and stuff like that. So if you want to watch it, I'll leave the links below. yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching and listening. Bye.